I was privileged many years ago to work with the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners here in Melbourne, and to work on a project about the family life cycle to help doctors understand how people move through different challenges over the decades. On that panel was a lady called Moira Eastman, a Melbourne lady who wrote a beautiful book called Family, the Vital Factor. That was actually a popularised version of her doctoral research that she dived into, looking at the importance of family and considerations around that. Her recommendation was that federal governments have to concentrate on strengthening and benefiting families because of the sheer economic and social impact of good quality strength within average families. Now, in her research, she cited some information about people from the Great Depression all those years ago. And there were families that were living middle-class lives, big houses, private schools, and all the privileges, who lost everything because of the Great Depression. So much so that we know many men killed themselves, but men who didn't, many of them became alcoholics. And so sociologists or whatever followed groups of these families to see what would happen to them over time. And they found that sadly in some of those families that the young people ran amok, their lives were messed up, they never really got their feet on the ground again. But there were a group of families who remained remarkably resilient despite the tragedy of all that they'd been through. The same conditions that sent other people off the edge happened to these people, but they didn't seem to lose the plot. So they asked themselves, what was it about these people that protected and preserved them from going down the bottomless pit? And they discovered there were a number of factors. One of them was that these people had large, loving, extended families. In our day and age, it's very hard to find a large, loving, extended family anymore because of so many casual relationships and broken relationships. That actual family fabric is being broken up, and we don't have that lovely sense of strength and support across that broad network. The second thing they found was those people were usually always involved in they were involved with large churches that were very supportive. So they had a second layer of community. Churches where people would actually care for them, they would make meals, they would provide, they did whatever they had to do to help the family stay together and survive through. Now, we don't have that strong family fabric anymore. And we have a lot of people that couldn't care less about church, and maybe churches that couldn't care less about the people that go there anyway, I don't know. But we do have community. And Casey is a community. Now, at the moment, it's quite fragmented. But if we are going to recover and survive challenges and disasters, like those storms or like other pressures that come against us, we need to become the kind of community that can help other people through their disasters and see them through in the way people were able to do that back in the Depression days. That's the vision I have for Casey. Not that we just get more money thrown into the ground in Casey, or not that we make great promises which don't happen and people vote you out in 3 years' time. I'm talking about seeing Casey become the kind of community where no matter what happens to people, the community around them becomes that buffer zone, that those kindly hands that hold them together and keep them together as sane and capable to be able to get through and stand firmly on their own feet. So I'm going to be looking for the people in Casey who have that kind of heart and that kind of gifting, those kind of qualities, and I'm going to be looking in Canberra for the resources to bring down to give to those people so that we as a community can come back to being what communities used to be once upon a time, where people actually cared and supported each other and they saw each other through the difficult times. We've had difficult times. I wouldn't be surprised if we had plenty more of them. But if we do, and we are a fragmented, torn apart society, we are each going to struggle to stay above water. But if we can become the kind of community that can care and support one another, then indeed we're so resilient. And if we can then bring in resources that come into the community that actually land on the ground, not some fancy research investigation thing on the other side of the planet that's supposed to do nothing for anybody, but real funds that meet the people who bring the good value to the community, people in the community of good spirit and goodwill, who we can resource to make this place an exciting place to be, a place to survive and a place to thrive. That's my vision for Casey. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but that's where we're going. And I want to get you there. I need you to get me in so I can get you where we need to go. So it's going to be a team effort. I need you to trust me for the Australian Federation Party to be a true representative for you, and then to represent you in Canberra, work with you in the community and bring the resources in that are going to land on the ground to make this a better place. A place where I'm going to expect you to care and not to be so selfish, not to be so isolated, not to be so disconnected, but to care and to make a community that's the envy of every other place in the country. We can do that. I'd like to do it with you, but I need your vote. I need you to vote 1, Chris for Casey on election day. Looking forward to you supporting me, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you and bringing value into the city of Casey. Let's do it together.
Authorised by G. O'Rourke, 101 Collins Street, Melbourne 3000, for the Australian Federation Party.